And now it is time for a QQnut Devlog hosted by none other than JJ the Monkey. At least that's what we think he is. So without further ado, a Devlog with JJ.
Hey, remember last week when I posted that vague teaser trailer for a new game of mine called Loppy Planet Hopper? Boy, do I remember. And remember that last part of the teaser where it said that a devlog was going to be made? Yeah, and this is that devlog. So without further ado, let's get into what the game is about. So what's the story about? Glad you asked, Mr. Viewer. Alright, get this. There's this planet millions of light years away from a planet called Polaris. In this planet lies a city called Polaris City. Original, I know. And in this city live 3 baker aliens. Loppy, the cheery but clumsy leader. Evely, the tough looking but soft brute. And Mia, she's pretty shy, but she can soar really high, like way up. And also a janitor called Stuttard. He's a pretty good alien to talk to, but when it's his turn to speak, he can talk for hours. These 4 funky aliens operate what is called the Go-Go Bakery. They've worked there pretty much every day and they've never once been tired of working. Until one day, they get a special cake request from a very, very rich anonymous alien. Now this request, let me tell ya, really challenging one at best, since it required a really rare ingredient. The orbit spice, they call it. Now this ingredient is said to be the rarest of any rare ingredient. Only one of these is said to exist in a planet that's 6 planets away from Polaris. And traveling there is a pretty gruesome experience. Now you may think that this rich alien is a lazy dummy that, instead of going to get the spice by themselves, chose a couple of bakers to do the job for them. But they offered to give the bakers a large sum of money, so technically it'd be a win-win for both the alien and the bakers. But I'll leave its morality up to you. Anyways, this was a huge thing for Loppy and the gang. This large sum of money could definitely grow their business by a huge margin. But how are they gonna get the spice? By going on an adventure, of course. But before they went on the quest for the lost spice, they of course had to get a vehicle. But thankfully, Stuttard had a ship that they could use for travel. But it had to be taken out of a repair shop first. So off they went in their separate ways, preparing for a grand adventure. But uh-oh, here come the bad guys! Specifically, an evil multi-million-dollar corporation called Rangtang Incorporated. Turns out that they're also looking for the spice, and they want to use its power to conquer every single planet that exists. Basically, they want to use its power for evil. And that's pretty much the main story of the game. So what about the game itself? Well, let me show you what I have now with the current test map. As you can clearly see, it's pretty empty and boring, but that's what test maps are like, right? But hey, at least Loppy's there. Also a pit and a couple of coins. Once you get to move the character, you will find that it pretty much has everything a basic platformer character can do. Walk, jump, run, you name it. But in this game, you have one more movement option, but it's subjected to each playable character. This is what I call a special move. Let me explain. You activate the special move by just crouching and then pressing the jump button, and each character's got a different move. Loppy's got a roll ability that can squish any enemy that comes near. In this case, we're using the very first enemy you'll ever see. This little guy is called the Garden. To defeat it the normal way, you just jump on it. That's it. Anyways, back to the special move. It can be stopped by walls, or just letting go of the down or jump buttons. When you press the jump button once, while in the special move state of course, you'll only cover a bit of ground. When you press the button several times, you go zoom. Evely's got a charging attack that works similarly to Loppy's move, but it's more straightforward. Just hold the down and jump buttons, wait for the attack to charge, and off you go. As fast as a speeding horse, I think. Mia has a special jump that lets her reach very high places. It's useful for fighting secrets that you normally wouldn't find with any of the other characters. Stuttard's special move is more of a melee attack. It has the same charging feature as Evely, but once the charge ends, Stuttard unleashes a quick swing of his broom that he can use to smack enemies out of existence. You just gotta hit them at the right moment. Of course, all of this isn't final. It's definitely subject to change, but if you have some sort of suggestion to make the movement more fluid, leave it in the comments below. Anywho, let's get into the second and last thing I'll show for now, the HUD elements. The HUD is pretty basic. It shows the name of the character you're playing as, the lives they have, their health, a timer, which can be really beneficial for speedrunners, coin counter, a score counter, and last but not least, this oven, which doesn't really have a real use yet, but I do plan on using it to store power-ups, just in case you need a backup. Details on power-ups and such will come at a later time, but for now, this is all you get. And that wraps things up for the very first QQnut devlog, but I need to mention a couple of things before I end this video off. First, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you wouldn't miss anything QQnut related. And if you want to support me financially, be sure to check out my past games, Lil Jingle and Puzzletopia, over on the official QQnut itch.io page, or on the VoxPop game service. I especially recommend VoxPop since it strives to help small indie game devs like myself get noticed through streaming, advertising, and other stuff, and it houses some pretty good games. So if you technically bought Puzzletopia from that service, you'd not only be supporting me, but you'll also support a great service that should get more attention. Second, if you've been listening to the music in the gameplay section of this video and wanted to know who made it, look no further than the talented Edward K. Stewart. He's been helping me with the music of this game, and he's done some other cool stuff on other cool games. So definitely check him out. And last but not least, make sure to also follow me on Twitter with the handle QQnut Games. I mostly post updates through there, so if you want to stay up to date with game updates and stuff, make sure to follow me there. I also have a website, though it's small at the moment. I only post stuff like press kits and stuff. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this devlog, and remember, there's always fun under the sun. See ya!